Hello, fuckers. What's cracking? Waiting for an answer. This episode of the podcast brought to you by new sponsor, DraftKings.com. While we were in Denver last week, I got schooled on the wonders of, what's the best way to describe this? This new activity that a lot of you folks are engaging in called fantasy football. It's basically the premise of our friend Steve Renazizi's show, The League, and Jean Lajoie.
Dungeons and Dragons for jocks.
Yes, Dungeons and Dragons for people who are really into sports. And it's Jamie's a fanatic, and it was sad seeing him scramble to try to make his picks. But I know people are into it, and football season is just around the corner. And you can get your piece of $5 million during kickoff week at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site. Now, I don't know much about fantasy football, but I'm going to have to learn about it now because Jamie completely perplexed me this past week. Greg Fitzsimmons is here, and he wrote a Doors logo like we're in high school, and he wrote it on his fucking... Remember we used to do those Van Halen things with the wings? Everybody used to do that on their...
And the Rolling Stones lips.
Yes. Everybody used to do that on their notebooks. Anyway, DraftKings for fantasy football, folks. You've already been scouting players and doing research for your season-long team, so you can use that knowledge to actually win cash the first week of the season at DraftKings.com. Last year, one player turned $11 into $4,000 in one weekend.
Oh, I heard about that.
Another player won $1 million in one day just playing fantasy football. How the fuck did a guy win $1 million in a day playing fantasy football? Is that real? It must be real. It's in the ad. That's incredible.
It's because he picked Shaquille O'Neal. It's rookie year.
Well, fantasy football is exciting. Can you do that? You have to pick people that are playing right now.
Oh.
You don't even know how it goes.
Wait.
Don't you know Shaquille O'Neal retired? Shut your mouth.
Doesn't he play basketball?
He's retired. DraftKings.com is about football, you fuck. Where you can win huge cash starting the first week of the season. Don't miss out on week one excitement. Reserve your spot now. So bounce over to DraftKings.com, enter the promo code Rogan. That's enter the promo code Rogan, and you'll get a free entry into week one. $5 million kickoff bash at DraftKings.com. Bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. This is insane. I can't even believe I'm reading this, but it is true. Apparently, you could win $1 million. That's insane. Enter Rogan for a free entry now at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com. And that is the end of the fucking sponsors for today. Why have more when you have Greg Fitzsimmons and his Doors logo?
I am a sponsor.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
Powerful Greg Fitzsimmons.
Oh, man.
What's up, buddy?
Smoke a little, write a Doors logo, settle in.
Greg wrote for folks who are just tuning in now, Greg wrote a Doors logo on his notebook like as if we were in high school. Remember when we all used to do that in high school. I used to do the Kiss logo. I was a big Kiss fan.
Right.
You know,
and
everybody.
Kiss the S's were like triangles on top, right?
It's like, well, the S's go like a Z, sort of.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Hey, do bands do that anymore? Do they still have logos?
Yeah.
But do they have logos that kids like draw on their notebooks or anything?
NIN.
Yeah, but Nine Inch Nails is not today, bro.
No.
Nine Inch Nails is from the 90s.
True.
Yeah,
like bands of today. Like
the kids that were really stoned could do Led Zeppelin. Remember, it had like a million little scribbles.
Yeah, and kids got props that were really good at that.
Right.
Like if a kid could do a solid Doors logo from scratch, like,
right.
Wow.
Well, one of my best friends, we used to sit in the back row, baked in 8th grade, and he would draw on desks, shit like the Doors logos and all that. And I was the class clown. And now, like all these years later, he's one of the top record designers in the country.
Wow.
Yeah. He worked for Jimi Hendrix's estate for a while, doing all those, like, the re-releases that they did. He did all those album covers.
My uncle used to do that. My uncle used to work for Howard Marks Advertising, which was the company that used to produce Kiss album covers. And I was a little kid. I met Ace Frehley. Ace Frehley came to the office, and he had no makeup on, which was just insane. It was like I was seeing the Easter Bunny without his fucking clothes on. I was like,
Yeah.
What the fuck? I couldn't even believe he was really there. And the fact that he didn't have makeup on, it was like, it was almost like a life-changing event for like a 10-year-old or whatever the fuck I was.
Right.
Because it was just, couldn't believe this was, Ace Frehley didn't have his makeup on. How's he just walking around? And then I realized what a brilliant move that was. They were famous, but nobody knew what they looked like.
Genius.
Oh, it's the greatest move of all time.
Yeah.
Like, look, the Insane Clown Posse has the same thing. The Insane Clown Posse could be at the fucking 7-Eleven right next to you buying cigarettes. You would have no idea.
Right.
You don't know what they look like. Is that what they look? No, that's Ace.
Ace Frehley. Yeah.
That's Ace Frehley today.
Or voiceover guys like Matt Groening and the guys that do the Simpsons voices.
Yeah.
They're making more than anybody, and they can sit in a restaurant without getting annoyed.
Yeah, that's so true. Well, Matt Stone and Trey Parker became famous. Like they became famous. They did their own movie, and then they've done so many interviews, and they've done like they took acid, went to the Oscars. Remember that? They wore women's dresses.
No shit.
Yeah, they wore women's dresses.
I remember that. I didn't know they were on
acid.
acid. That's amazing.
They're the greatest. They're so important for the culture. Guys like that are so important. Guys that can make those kind of shows, they're so
Did
fucking
you see
important.
the Book of Mormon?
Yes.
Dude.
Loved it.
That opening song, I started laughing so fucking hard, and then I looked around the theater, and people come in, and they know it's Matt Stone and Trey Parker. So they're like, all right, this is going to be shocking.
Right.
But then when they start singing Fuck God in the Mouth, Ass, and Cunt, and I'm laughing, and I see that people are pulling back. Half the audience can't handle it. That makes me laugh twice as hard. And they're like far into the whole next scene, and I'm still doubled over.
Oh, God.
That was fucking brilliant.
Here's them at the
Is that
Oscars.
why you're in the dress? It's just such a magical evening, and everyone looks so spectacular. You know, we just wanted to be a part of it all. It's a night of magic.
It's a night of magic. It's a night of magic. Oh.
That's great.
Dude, when they did that fucking South Park movie and Satan and Saddam Hussein were in bed together, and you see Satan's dick, and they're allowed to show his dick because it's fake, it's because it's rubber, you know, so they have like this rubber dick, but
It was the movie.
it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, come on, just suck my dick.
It was so ridiculous. You're like, how are they getting away with this? They push so hard, too.
Yeah.
Like, one of the reasons why they get away with putting all their shit in the movies is they put a bunch of stuff in the movies that are so fucked up that they have some bargaining tools.
Yeah.
Like, they'll cut out some of this other stuff that they weren't planning on putting in there anyway.
Yeah.
Like have you ever seen the full sex scene between the two puppets in Team America?
No.
They shit on each other. They piss on each other. I mean, it's crazy. He drops a log on her chest. It's so
That's
ridiculous.
what they cut out, and
That's
then
what
they
cut
released
out.
it?
Yeah. So the scene is insane already.
I remember the scene's insane.
Insane. It was way over the top in real life, or the original version. But they do. I know they do that shit on purpose. Like we used to do that. Like Paul Sims used to do that on news radio on purpose. Like they would say penis. Like there was an episode where Bill McNeil, was Phil Hartman's character, had to say penis on the air.
Yeah.
And he said penis like 100 times, you know, and they put in like all these extra penises so they could trim it down.
Right.
And that episode like didn't air until the third season. They pulled that episode.
Yeah.
They're like it's too controversial.
Right.
And then they aired it like in the third or fourth season.
Did it seem weird? Like, did anyone like look different? Like out of nowhere, one week somebody had like purple hair instead or shorter hair, or you know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Because it was a different season, right?
No. Well, yeah, it would definitely look different. Like, you know, 3 years, people's faces change a little.
Yeah.
Just a slight amount. You know, it was. I went to the Phil Hartman had a Star of Fame put on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He had a star, and I went there, and there were some people that I hadn't seen in 16, 17 years, like a lot of the writers and a lot of the people that worked on staff, and it was weird. It's like, wow, we're all getting fucking old. This is strange.
Yeah.
And we're laughing about it, but it is strange to see the weathering. Like my friend Lou, who I picture as this like boy-faced young kid, is this hilarious writer, Lou Morton. He had gray hair. I was like, wow.
Look at me. I'm getting
Yeah.
gray. No, we just got together, me and a few college friends. And I hadn't seen them in years. And I looked around, and you start to think, wow, I must not look as good as I think because they look fucking terrible. And they're my peers. You know, one guy is fat as shit. So if you get fat enough, there is a key to aging where if you can put enough fat into your face, it's like Botox and you don't wrinkle and you kind of have that youthful glow because you're just filled with oil.
Well, you know, William Shatner allegedly does that on purpose.
I can see
William
that.
Shatner says, I put on 5 pounds a year. and 5 pounds a year keeps his face round. And
I do it. I adjust for men, and I keep it fat.
is that your move?
Yeah.
No, you're just coming up with an excuse for keeping it fat, bro. That's not true.
Dr. Pepper 10.
You can't say that, man, because William Shatner actually plans it, so you can't claim it.
That is an amazing.
I told you what I used to do when I wanted to get out of relationships. It's pretty much the same thing.
You just fatten up.
You fat them out.
Do you ever remember that Kinnison bit about getting out of relationships?
No.
Oh, he had the best bit. He's like, he's like, I don't ever break up with them. He goes, I get them to break up with me. That way they feel bad that they left me when I needed them most. It's flawless. Like he did this thing where he says, I just stay up for weeks and do coke. And then one, they go, Sam, you're just not the guy that you were when I met you. And I'm sorry, but I have to go. And she leaves. It's flawless. She leaves. The best part about it, she feels bad because she left you when you needed her most.
And you got to go out into coke for 3 weeks.
Have you ever heard Maron tell the Kinnison stories?
Oh yeah, when he pissed on his bed.
Well, just how crazy they were with coke.
Yeah.
Maron was on our podcast and he said that he heard voices in his head for almost a year.
Who, Kinnison did?
No, Maron did.
Oh, from just
they
trauma?
They did so much coke.
Yeah.
They did so much coke. He was hearing voices.
Wow.
Dude, for like a year.
Yeah.
He said that Kinnison would just redline it all day. He was just gone for days and days
I wonder what it was
time.
like what stops did he make in, because he was like on the Sunset Strip going to like record store, diner, bar, in one day he would make more stops than you would in a month.
Yeah.
Just ripped out of his mind, sleeping 3 hours a night.
He sometimes didn't sleep for days, apparently.
Yeah.
He was an animal. He was the funniest thing about him was that he was a reverend. People who are, if you never heard Kinnison, go download Louder Than Hell. It was so offensive that Warner Bros. Never released it as a CD. It's like one of the greatest comedy albums ever, but it's only on cassette because Warner Brothers
Still?
like so much homophobic stuff on there. There's just so much stuff that was so offensive to gay people, And so that was never released. It was never released as a CD. I used to have it as a cassette. But people have put it up now. You can get it.
I gotta find that.
Get it through torrents.
It's not on iTunes or anything like that?
I don't think it's on iTunes, man. It might be. See if it is.
Just for Hell?
No, Louder Than Hell. Loud as Hell? Louder Than Hell. I think it's Louder Than Hell. It's his first CD. And then some of the material is similar to what was on his first HBO special. Like there's some crossover with some of the material, but it's his best stuff.
Yeah.
Those two, his HBO special and Louder Than Hell. Those are
the HBO special was from Montreal, right?
No, it's from the Roxy, right up the street from the Comedy Store.
Okay.
He did it at that theater on Sunset, which is perfect.
Oh, it's on there.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's on there? Oh, yeah, that's it, man. That right there, my opinion, best comedy CD ever. That's my number one. Somebody had to say to me, what was the most influential comedy CD? That's it.
Huh.
I think he was the best ever for a year. Yeah. I think for 1 year plus 2 years, whatever it was, when he was just a maniac.
Right.
But you just can't.
You can't keep that
up.
Going because
it's so awful.
It's because he was
body.
on the crest of the wave. You know, a wave has depth. There's a lot of failure and a lot of frustration underneath the ocean, and it builds until it swells. And then that fucking wave pops out. And that's where he was on the crest of that wave, and he rode it, and he got to shore and just fucking crashed.
Well, he was a superstar all of a sudden
That's a
out
good
of
metaphor.
nowhere. That was pretty
awesome.
goddamn good. Similar to Hunter S. Thompson's metaphor about what happened in the 70s. You ever heard that thing?
No.
It's done to it's great. It was in the movie, the Johnny Depp movie.
Oh, yeah.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, where he played him.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp did an awesome job of pull that up, see if we could find it. The wave speech from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Did I just steal that?
No.